Right, hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Now today I'm going to be reviewing The Raid 2. I just finished reviewing the first film. I actually watched this movie earlier on today. I went out to HMV earlier on and I bought a bunch of movies. This was one of them, which was like the first one, and the second one in like a DVD combined. And I'd seen the first one quite a few months ago, and I really wanted to watch the second one, but I was a little hesitant because I was like, the first one was great. Apparently the second one's just as good, even better, some people say, but it's completely different. I was like, I don't know if I'll like it, but I still wanted to see it. So I went into it kind of having my hopes, ish. I was like, maybe it'll be really good, maybe it won't, so let's not get my hopes too high. And I watched it and it was absolutely fantastic. It's one of the best films I've ever seen. It just improves everything that was great about the first movie. It makes it bigger, it makes it better, it makes it more hard-hitting, more brutal. Everything that could have been improved in the first film was improved here. There's more characters, more action. I just said that. There's more action than the first film for some reason. It's crazy, and the action's so much more hard-hitting because you know the characters better. And that's probably the only gripe that you can really have about the first film, is that the characters aren't fleshed out enough. In this one they are. And Iko Uwais he's the main character, but he isn't as important. He isn't as important as some of the other characters. One of them's the mob boss's son, who is probably one of the best acting performances I've ever seen. One scene in this movie in particular, he just went all in, and he was amazing. He's got one of the best characters I've ever seen, and his storyline was even better than Iko Uwais's. So The Raid 2 is just phenomenal. It was like more of a crime epic than The Raid. The Raid was an action, like kind of a fun, light-hearted action movie. I know I say that, but it's like, but didn't you just say it was brutal? It's brutal, but it's still kind of like fun. You can watch this film like, oh, that was awesome, and like that explosion and stuff. And it's only 100 minutes long, and this one it was like 150 minutes, 2.5 hours. It was a crime epic. It moved on from action. It was like an action crime film. It was like The Godfather, really. And that's like a big, like, kind of jump to say, but it really was. It went from like, oh, look at them, I'm shooting the bad guys, to straight up like, it was just crazy. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. The characters in this movie were 10 times better. You cared about them. They were more memorable. There's these two people in it, this hammer lady and this bat guy, and they work together. And kind of, you see them in two separate scenes, and you're like, that is awesome. And then you see them team up at the end to fight Iko Uwais, and you were like, that is crazy. It's one of the best action scenes ever. And this film has like two of my favourite scenes ever now. One of them is the mud fight scene, where there's like so many guards fighting all these prisoners, and it's like, it looks like one long shot. I know it gets edited, and you can see it gets edited, but most of it's one long shot, and it was crazy how they filmed it. And it really wants me just to see the behind the scenes for this movie, just to see how they managed to film this movie. It really was manic in some aspects. One of them scenes is where he's in this toilet cubicle and he has to fight like 50 guys as they're going in the cubicle. It was crazy. And one of the best parts about this film is that Iko Uwais was in danger. In the first film, you were like, he's gonna make it because obviously you've seen him advertised in the second one, and he's the main character. In this one, you're like, he could die in this situation, and he does get beat up. He doesn't win every fight like you kind of expect in films nowadays. You thought that he could die in some parts, and he did get beat by one guy in particular, and he loses some fights as well as winning them. And I really appreciated the people who made this film for doing that. They took a big chance with kind of making, oh wait, this main character isn't as, I don't know, efficient as you might have thought he would be. And it's the same with the other characters, where you're like, these guys can't die, they're the main characters, and then they do, and it's like so sudden and impactful. And the mob boss's son, I know I've just spoke so highly of him, and he is one scene in this movie that's phenomenal, where he's arguing with his dad and he's getting slapped. One of the best acting scenes, one of the best scenes, most intense, just everything with that scene was incredible. The cinematography was great in this film. They had more dialogue, and I like dialogue in movies. In this film, the dialogue was great. I know that people find the plot convoluted at points, and there was a lot going on, but I never was like this is getting confusing or I was getting bored. It was so gripping and hard-hitting and brutal and amazing. I cannot tell you how great this movie is unless you've seen it. I would definitely recommend watching The Raid 2. Even if you haven't seen the first one, you'll get the general gist. There isn't much, although it does follow on pretty much immediately. The first one doesn't have much to do with the second film, really. So if you've seen the first one, great, but if you haven't still watched The Raid 2, it's a fantastic film. One of the best ever to be made. If you like martial arts film, you'll love it. If you like action films, you'll love it. If you like crime, like Godfather films, you'll love it. If you like films in general, you will love this movie. It is incredible. I can't say anything wrong about it. The only thing that I could say wasn't as good as the first one is the ending fight scene. If you've seen my review for the first Raid, you'll know I said that the fight with Mad Dog at the end was better than the ending fight scene with this one. That doesn't mean that this one wasn't amazing, because it was. There's like 3 fight scenes in the end. The last 30 minutes of this film is non-stop action, with the hammer lady and the bat guy, and Iko always fighting the guy with the metal like kind of moon thing. Everything was fantastic in this film. It was all perfect, amazing. Definitely watch The Raid 2. It is incredible, and it's a film that you will never forget, and I could watch this film over and over now. I think it's even more rewatchable than the first one somehow, even though the first one's like a pure 100-minute action movie. This one is one that I could just revisit. So definitely watch The Raid 2. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.